Here's the thing I want to talk about today, why you probably shouldn't buy a 14 or 14 Plus and why you should buy something else entirely. How salacious, how controversial. The latest from Apple is finally here. I have the new iPhone sent straight from Tim. I'm very excited. I just think there's been too much movement, too much distance between the Pro model and the standard model. First, let's talk about the 14. I got it in the new blue color. New reports are indicating that the Pro and the Pro Max make up to 80% of the pre-orders. The expensive phones, everybody's ordering them and skipping the standard iPhone 14. Ming-Chi Kuo has stated Apple's product segmentation strategy for standard models fails this year. Pre-orders for iPhone 14 and 14 Plus worse than iPhone SE 3 and iPhone 13 mini. Let's discuss why that might be the case. So obviously, if you watched Apple's presentation, then you recognize that this phone has a little bit more in common with the previous generation, excluding the fact that it has a new blue tone, which actually I'm kind of a fan of. I'm not gonna lie about that. Camera layout looking quite similar. Build, aluminum around the outside. SIM trays, Canadian models. If you haven't seen my video all about this eSIM fiasco, go watch that video. We have no dynamic island. We have the old school notch. Outside of this slightly altered bluish tone, we have a device that looks a lot like the previous generation. These things matter to people. 240 million of the 1 billion iPhones in the wild have been there for 3.5 years at this point. So people tend to hang on to these things. And when they do upgrade, they're gonna want the thing that appears to be new. That'll give you your first glimpse at the notch. Been the same since, I don't know, all the way back to the iPhone 10 at this point. Inside of this package, pretty much just a cable. Let's talk about price. This guy right here is starting at $800. That's the problem. This is an extremely premium price already. Now you can get yourself into a 14 Pro starting at $999. What does that do for you? For one, it gives you that dynamic island that I was referencing, but it also gives you the A16 Bionic, a more advanced phone from a chip perspective compared to the A15 that's on the regular iPhone 14 and 14 Plus. We've also got this new 48 megapixel sensor, which is the biggest that Apple's ever approached. And they're using those 48 megapixels in an interesting way in order to improve low light performance by piling those pixels together. That's an exclusive feature. You know what else is exclusive? How about the fact that we have a purple iPhone? I like that. I'm partial to that. Look at the size of the camera units on this thing as well. iPhone 14 has the aluminum lightweight build compared to the polished stainless steel surgical grade, as well as the matte finish glass on the back. You're telling me that the gap between these two phones is only $200 when you're already spending $800? This one is gonna be brighter. 2000 nit peak brightness, that's 200 extra nits. I am a nit counter. ProRes for video, Pro Raw for photos. That's also gonna be exclusive to the Pro model. This is also finally featuring always on display and a 120 Hz refresh compared to 60. $200 difference? There's your first look at the dynamic island where they took an eyesore and they turned it into an interactive element. People have made all kinds of jokes about it. It's innovative. Granted, when you are watching video, it could act as a bit of a distraction. Apple has differentiated a product from a software experience perspective. You have an entirely new interaction point like a dynamic island that doesn't exist on the standard model. So now people who upgrade to the Pro version are actually interacting with their phone a little bit differently. There's our first impression of dynamic island expansion. This looks really good in studio. I have seen some images out in direct sunlight where you can kind of spot the actual camera cutout versus the on-screen elements, which are activated pixels that are capable of expansion. But in that little animation right there, that thing was smooth and that was pretty cool. I'm also spotting the SOS, a little icon up there near the Wi-Fi indicator. eSIM becoming part of the setup process. You can transfer your phone number from a nearby iPhone or scan another QR provided by your carrier. Emergency SOS coming fall 2022, emergency SOS via satellite. Also, The crash detection also going to be on here. Let me just get some more nits going on. That's a nice looking screen. Nothing wrong with that. For sure, the most ambitious camera section I've ever seen. Those babies are popping out. That's a lot of glass as far as a smartphone goes. You know, I'm going to throw a little bit of protection on there. The newest later case iPhone 14 Pro Cyber Edition. These are available for all of the new iPhones. Slim protection for the back, some coverage over the camera area. I like to keep my phones as slim as possible, and I want to appreciate just how sleek the manufacturer made the device, so I throw these on. It just provides a little bit of grip and stops these slippery devices from sliding out of your pocket without ruining the phone experience. You hardly notice that you're wearing a case, and then when you place it down on its back, it's sitting on the case components instead of the camera components. The entire point is to give it a little bit of protection, stop it from sliding out of your pocket, and not ruin the smartphone experience with these slim and sleek smartphones we have in 2022. And the other thing we've got are the uncompromising screen protector from later case. These are incredibly easy to install. Everything you need is inside of the package. It's a pack of 2. It feels like you're touching the display. When you combine one of these screen protectors with the ultra slim later case, you're actually getting front and back protection, but still feeling like you're interacting with the naked smartphone. This combination is something I would highly recommend. This is the 14 Pro Max. I assume this will be the battery champion amongst the new iPhones. Just keep in mind, this is also gonna be your most premium price tag, and this thing is going to feel like an enormous phone. So if you're gonna put a case on this one, then definitely look for something slim like the later case, because otherwise this is turning into an iPad. This is a big phone. Just be aware, even for me with average to large size hands, this thing is still a big phone. I am really liking this deep purple color though. Look at the scale difference of those two. Now let's quickly bring back the iPhone 14. They both look good. Should we get our little sensor out? Yeah. My screen luminance meter, once again, my favorite new gadget. These things are not extremely precise, but it gives you an idea of the brightness difference. These things are both gonna output more peak brightness when they are flooded with tons of ambient light as compared to just manually attempting to max them out. In the adaptive mode outdoors, they will reach a higher brightness. Is that right? What? Interesting discovery. In this setting, which again is not a peak brightness setting, max manual brightness indoors, 552 on the Pro model versus 595 on the standard model. However, I'm confident that in ambient light, bright ambient light, that peak performance will come out on the Pro model. That's why this gadget is fun. You never know what you're gonna find. Okay, so I've pretty much discounted the iPhone 14 this year. I think you should totally skip it. However, these phones are interesting. And one of the things I've been liking about what Apple's been doing recently is this battery life stuff. It's one of the reasons I might personally consider using the big model, even though I feel it's a little bit unwieldy. Is that a word? I'm currently carrying around a folding phone, but this one is just like wide. It's funny, maybe I've just gotten used to the narrowness, like holding it like this and using the front display. So I end up actually using it like this a lot, and my thumb has no trouble reaching the far side of the screen because it's tall. Whereas over here, as you can tell, this is about as wide of a gap as you're gonna cover versus the standard Pro model, which kind of gives you something a little bit more comfortable. Max or regular Pro?
I go for the little guy.
Little guy, non-Pro.
I'm curious about the island.
You need an island in your life.
I'll give it a shot.
For $200 extra, sir, I'll give you an island.
I'll pay for it, sure.
Okay, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Oh, did you want to do a fist bump or something?
Did you just do that?
I did thumbs up, but we can do a fist bump. Yeah, we could do a fist bump. No, it's fine. I just want to bring out my brightness thing one more time here. So 590 non-Pro model. 549, so right around that 550 Pro, not Max. Interesting, 562 Pro Max. I don't doubt Apple's specifications. People should know the circumstances in which you're going to achieve the brightest performance. In most cases, it means you actually have to be on adaptive mode in sunlight to get that peak.
We're good.
Ooh,
Listen.
speaker performance.
Hearing the sound of a beard hair on this pop filter is like crinkly.
Crinkly.
Yeah, it's like a crinkly kind of sound.
These sound great. Apple's been good at this for a while now. This is exactly what I would expect, whether it's their MacBooks or their iPhones or their iPads. They put that extra attention into audio performance.
You know what I was listening to right there?
What's that?
For a second, I was just hearing the sound of a beard hair on this pop filter.
Wait a second.
The Big Daddy crinkly.
Oh my God.
Crinkly.
The non-Pro
kind of
sounds
sound.
better. Am I insane?
The Pro Max. There's a video. We got these new iPhones in.
This might have a slight bit more low end. That's the Pro model, but the other one is louder. The other thing I want to mention, just going back and forth between these phones, how much lighter this thing is. You notice the difference. If you want a very lightweight phone, the aluminum model, I guess, has that advantage going for it. But it doesn't matter because I talked about all those features and I told you already, you're not buying the regular iPhone 14, not this year. I have a hypothesis. The dynamic island becomes muddy. I don't know. Pure speculation. I'm just throwing things out there right now as to why I got a higher reading on the regular iPhone. These are the better displays. I know for a fact. So like brightness and the brightness reading on the manual setting here in the studio isn't telling you very much. Ooh, so dynamic. Even Will's over here. And there's a camera lens right there. Everybody is excited about islands now. Dynamic flavor. There's my timer. There's my music. There's my timer. There's my music. I don't know. I can spot where it's screen versus sensor / camera. I can spot. It's not an issue. Don't let anyone scare you about that. I just like the fact that they turned it into a feature because everyone hates that location. No, it's not better for video. It's kind of distracting for video, but how big of a distraction is that versus the rest of the time that you're staring at some sort of hole punch? Apple didn't want to do the under display camera because they're still not as good. So this is kind of an interesting stopgap, and it's certainly an improvement over just having a notch there. Feels newer and I can tap on it. Wow, this thing stood the test of time. Was I bending an iPhone at the time? Bam, too late.
Can we just get rid of
2x, woo! 3x, we keep going. 0.5, ultra wide. My finger's in the frame. It's not as good, I don't think, as the remainder of the cameras, but that's okay. It's usable, and I love anything ultra wide. Ooh, that one on the other hand, that 3x, ooh, we're living life. Obviously, same to be said here on our initial zoom, and then the main shot is the best of the bunch. Lovely stuff. They're doing things that are good. I want 60 frames of 4K, and I want some smoothness. Action mode knocks me back to 2.8K. This is a video sample. Will, do you want to wave and say hi?
Yo.
Oh, he says yo instead of hi.
Are you zooming in? Don't do that.
Yeah, so this is, I guess, this is going to be our smooth. The audio that you are hearing is also via the phone. 2.8K, 60 frames per second. Look at the way the autofocus smoothly adjusts. Where's our minimum focusing distance? There it is. iPhones have always been good with video, particularly the Pro models, and especially now that they have extra features like this crazy new stabilization, which is gimbal-like, and then obviously ProRes as well. It's going to be a little more lightweight on your editing software. So when you throw it in there, you're just cruising around instead of having any type of funky video codec that may not perform as well. The iPhone selfies has always been a bit weird in terms of skin tones and stuff, at least for me, where it looks like I can't get rid of the beautiness of it. Oh, it's better. It's much better than it's been in the past. These are improvements. Now, keep in mind, I haven't been using it exclusively an iPhone in a long time. In fact, who knows, maybe there's an upcoming video switching to iPhone after 3 years on Android. Lifelong Android user switches to, I'm not though, I've had every iPhone. It's just that I haven't used one exclusively in a really long time. They definitely improve what the software is doing on the selfie photos. Way more natural, man. Yeah, it's looking so much more natural. I did an entire video on this, how I couldn't really turn off Apple's beauty mode. Like you could tweak it ever so slightly. It was in the software. inside of the knurl. By the looks of it, they've tweaked it in such a fashion that I find to be far more accurate to life. Go there and then go up to my face, Mo. That's my face. Go back. There's more contrast. It's more believable. It's like falling off the edge. The numbers. Anyway, this is new software. Come on, guys. Okay, listen, this is an unboxing video. I'll use the thing. I'll use it. There's nothing really exciting about the regular model. I guess it's for somebody who wants a light iPhone, or somebody who doesn't like change and likes to upgrade to a new phone while it feels almost exactly like the previous generation, who needs these islands anyway. But that's not you, because you're a tech enthusiast. You're watching this channel and you're watching all types of tech videos here on YouTube. So you probably already knew that this is the one to skip this year. And it's never been more clear. This year, that $200 difference actually gives you quite a difference on the spec sheet. The Pro has the dynamic island. It has the A16 Bionic. It has a 48 megapixel sensor instead of 12. It's made of stainless steel instead of aluminum. The screen theoretically is brighter, although I didn't have that finding here today in the studio setting with the max manual brightness. You can shoot ProRes and ProRAW on the Pro model, plus you've got 23 hours of battery life. I'm not talking about the Max model, and that's coming via Apple, and that test is for watching video. That's compared to 20 hours on the regular iPhone 14. You have the always-on display and the 120 hertz refresh. That's all for $200 more when you're already spending $800. I can very easily say that you should skip this one this year, and if you're in the market and you're already at $800 for a new iPhone and you don't upgrade that frequently, like a lot of people, you wait 3 years, then I would suggest you go for the Pro model. There's not too many reasons to go for this one, so you can go ahead and skip it. Just keep in mind, if you go Max for ultimate brightness and multimedia enjoyment, you're dealing with a pretty substantial beast. So my pick is probably this guy right here, the iPhone 14 Pro. It's still extremely pricey. No, you do not need to spend $1,000 to get a nice smartphone in 2022. But if you are determined to have an iPhone for 2022, from 2022, then this is probably the one to get. Skip the regular iPhone 14. And get a later case as well when you finally get it. Get one of these. Give it a shot. Give it a try. You might never go back to a regular case, which is bulky and fat. You know how that goes. This episode has been sponsored by Henson Shaving. Discover a high-quality double-edge razor, AL15. These are made of aluminum, a robust-feeling, timeless type of design, some grip on the handle. This piece unscrews, and your blades will be installed here. So never mind those expensive monthly plans for sharp blades. These are gonna come in at $49 for 2 years worth of shaving. And then another 2 years worth of blades can be purchased for $15 after that. It's not about the number of blades that you use for shaving. It's not about some sort of fancy or futuristic design. This is tried and true. It's about having sharp, high-quality blades. Designed, manufactured, and packaged in Canada. Apply mild pressure. The shaving angle is achieved by the design of the head. This design works well not just for faces, but also for those that shave their heads. Hey Mo, want a haircut? It's precision work here, Mo. Ooh, such fine tolerances. You can see that wonderfully sharp blade extending over the edge and the cutting angle maintained by the entire shape of the aluminum head. Super easy installation. How about this? Another color option. These are timeless designs. Like, that's never gonna go out of fashion. Oh, wow. I don't see this one listed on the website, but it is also very cool. A little bit more sporty, I suppose. So never mind 20 bucks for a 4-pack of razors, those refillable ones that you buy at the drugstore. Never mind paying a high monthly fee to always have sharp blades. The point here is that you're gonna be able to spend like 50 bucks over a couple of years. And then the refill for like another 2 years is gonna be around 15 bucks, all while handling an expertly crafted, wonderful to hold, timeless design. All right, so here's the best part. If you wanna upgrade your shaving game and pick up one of these timeless designs for yourself, you got a special code because you're an Unbox Therapy viewer. Use the code Unbox Therapy to get 100 extra blades for free with the purchase of one of these razors. Thank you to Henson Shaving for sponsoring this episode.